Fox News alert, a new front is opening in the healthcare war today, and it is ugly, and news is just breaking on this. So here's the deal. Last week, we detailed how more than 3,500 big U.S. companies are now facing a combined $14 billion in losses, they say, from tax changes included in this new healthcare overhaul, which is now law. These companies are required by law to publicly report these losses to the stockholders. Well, now some top Democrats are threatening to drag some of these CEOs to Capitol Hill to explain publicly how they came up with these numbers. And they want documents, they want emails, they want testimony, they want it all. Well, moments ago, Republicans firing back. We just got this in from John Boehner, the House Minority Leader, who is accusing the Democrats of intimidating big business. Fox Business Network's Stu Varney is here to explain it all. All right, Stu, so I do not want to get too deep in the weeds on accounting rules, but the bottom line is these companies under President Bush were given a tax incentive to keep retirees on their medical benefits rolls.
Yes.
And that tax benefit was taken away by this new law.
Yes.
So that's why we saw AT&T and other companies saying, all right, that's going to cost us, AT&T said, $1 billion. We have to put that on our books now because we have stockholders that we need to alert to that fact.
Right.
And now we see the Democrats do what?
Now the Democrats are saying, hey, how dare you turn around and say that our health care plan is going to cost you so much more money that you have to threaten the coverage of seniors going forward. We're going to have you come before our committee on April 21st. We want to see your numbers, open up your books, and we want every email sent between every senior executive regarding the impact of health care costs because of the health care reform plan. You get over here and you explain yourselves. I do believe, if I can pass a judgment, John Boehner is right. It is a form of bullying and intimidation of what could be unpopular business executives. It's a process of demonization. We, the politicians, are the good guys. We came through with healthcare reform for you, and you are standing in the way.
Yeah, because we have Henry Waxman, who's the chair of the Government Oversight Committee, who says to them, you know, we want you to come in and talk to us about this because this is a matter of concern. The new law is designed to expand coverage and bring down costs. So we want you to come in and explain yourself. It's Verizon, it's AT&T, it's Caterpillar. I mean, it's some big,
John Deere,
big companies.
Yes.
I mean, I don't understand this, Stu. What company, what CEO would show up at Capitol Hill and divulge all of their emails, all of their internal documents assessing costs in response to this?
You know more about the power of Congress, but I do believe that if the executives say, no, we're not coming, they could be subpoenaed to show up. And then they could have their records subpoenaed, which puts them in a very negative light right from the get-go.
Did they have any choice? Well, you tell me, Stu. So AT&T says it's looking at $1 billion in costs because it no longer gets this tax write-off. So hence, that's $1 billion in new taxes, it says. Does it have an obligation to alert its stockholders if it's facing $1 billion in losses?
Yes. The obligation of that company is to warn its stockholders of any development in policy that costs them money. Healthcare reform costs these companies money. In the case of AT&T, it's $1 billion. They must tell their shareholders. And in doing so, they run afoul of Henry Waxman, who says, wait a minute, you're standing in the way of healthcare reform. Come over here and testify.
Because, I mean, if this is, as the companies say it is, if they're losing billions of dollars as a result of the health care law, obviously it's bad politically for Democrats because retirees could get kicked off of these prescription drug plans,
could have their benefits restricted in the future. That could happen.
And so Henry Waxman and other Democrats want to make sure that AT&T and these other companies are playing it straight. Stu, I mean, is there a question that they are manipulating the data to say, oh, it's terrible, oh, we hate health care because maybe they don't like Republicans or Democrats, maybe they don't like Obama and his plan?
Megan, I think this is a case of shooting the messenger. Here we've got this brand new health care plan. Corporations go out and read it. They say, because of this, we're going to lose this amount of money. They say so publicly. Henry Waxman doesn't like it and says, come over here and testify. We want you to open your books. Which, you know, that's a big deal.
And they want everything. I mean, he wants...
Oh, yes. All email messages, all messages between senior executives regarding the impact of healthcare reform.
Can you imagine how much information that would be?
Supposing they just failed to show up with maybe 1 or 2 emails out of a couple of million. You're covering it up.
Yeah.
Demonizing, you see.
On the other hand, you might see these companies produce boxes of documents that actually prove that this law is not going to be helpful to them in terms of this tax write-off, and that could wind up being problematic on the other side.
Yes, it's a can of worms.
Be careful what you ask for, in other words.
It's a can of worms, and it has been opened.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they do. The hearing is set for April 21st.
Correct.
We'll see whether they show up and what happens in the meantime now that Boehner is firing back. Stu, Varney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan.